Howdy, welcome to yet another episode of Monthly Pickups. Being August, I will show what additions I added to my collection in July. Very good month overall. Gotta say I got a lot of different games, cool accessories. Probably the best month this year so far. So without further ado, start off with a World of Nintendo. Here we see it's the Samus Aran figurine. This, of course, being the Gravity Suit Samus, which now makes it the third Samus figurine I have. Got that for $10. Also, speaking of figurines, this here is Blanka from Street Fighter 2. I guess it's part of like a G.I. Joe's limited series in the mid-90s or so. A friend of mine gave that to me. Continuing on, we have Fling Smash, which is a Wii title. Don't know too much about it. Got it for $2. Does not have its manual, but it's in good shape otherwise. So that's, I believe, the one Wii game I've added to my collection in July. Next up is Quantum Theory, which also actually comes with its manual and is complete. Looked pretty interesting. Made by Tecmo. Koei Tecmo, actually. They merged some years back, so. Next we have Dante's Inferno. Another 360 title. This game has got some pretty good reviews. A friend of mine, Jeremy, actually played this game. I think he beat it about 6 years ago or so. So got it for a couple bucks. Also, this here is Borderlands 2. This one is complete. Pretty good shape. Again, I got a lot of these in a flea market, so for a couple of bucks, definitely not bad. Got the, I believe it's the third BioShock for 360. This here being BioShock Infinite. I think I got this one at GameStop, like $5. I had like a promotion going on. It was like buy like 3 games, you get 1 free or something like that, of like cheap games. Over here we have a game by Sega named Golden Axe Beast Rider. This game came out about 2010. Didn't do too good, but I like the original Golden Axe, so a few bucks, why not? Continuing on, got Fable 3. This here is my third in the series. I have actually the Lost Chapters and the original. The Lost Chapters is essentially the Game of the Year edition, which we'll call the Gaudy, I guess. And I have Fable 2, which I got last month, or rather June. So here we are in July, and I got Fable 3, so it rounds that off. Continuing on, another game called Saboteur. This came out for the 360. It's a World War II game. Pretty interesting. You play as a member of the French Resistance. And I got that at a pawn shop in this second game, which is actually worth more, but the owner didn't know it, for free. This is Siren for PS2, a survival horror game, one of the cheaper ones. I would say Cold Fear, which is on my list still, is another game that's pretty cheap. This is complete. I've been looking for this one for a while, so I'm pretty excited to add that one to the collection. Continuing on, a lot about the Wii games. This here is Alien Syndrome. Got this at GameStop with their promotion. I guess they made this on the NES. I didn't know that until I got this one, but that means I'll just have to get the NES version. But, pretty cool addition to the collection. And speaking of Sega, we have The Conduit, which is an uncommon game. Not worth much, honestly. But another Wii title I ain't never hear of. So, that has been added as well to the collection. Continuing onwards, I got this at a flea market. This is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance for the GameCube. I'm trying to bulk up my GameCube library, but it's easier to find PS2 and Xbox as opposed to GameCube, as I'm sure plenty of you know. This is the last game of the, I want to say it's the 6th generation consoles I needed. I did get Shaolin Monks recently. I've had Armageddon, I think, for a few months, and I got Deception years ago, so I have all of them now for that generation of consoles. Next we have Shinobi for the PS2. This is complete as well. Got this at a yard sale from a guy. Been having my eye on that one for a while, so it's pretty cool I got that one. Speaking of pretty cool, the same guy had Destroy All Humans. The guy was holding this game for somebody else, but he never showed up, so I could probably say this is now a nice addition to my collection. Moving onwards, we have some PS1 titles, some of which are not to be laughed at. Here we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I got this at GameStop for $8 after a 20% off coupon. It is complete and in great shape. I took a sticker off. Other than that, pretty good. Yeah, sadly, GameStop's still putting stickers on their games, but what a surprise. Here we have Clock Tower for PS1. This game, I didn't know existed until I got the Super NES ROM hack, which was never released in the United States. Clock Tower on the PS1, however, was its official US launch. This here is a nice little game called Einhander, which is from my friend Jeremy for my birthday. I really appreciate this. It's a great title, pretty expensive. Retail is almost for $100. I have still not played it, but I really intend to play it as soon as I can. Couldn't tell? I'm working a lot. Going through a system conversion, so I've not had much time to get these out. Next, we have Mace. Got this at a flea market for a few bucks. It's a fighting game. It wasn't really on my list, but oh well. Up next, I recently saw the movie, and now I have completed the 3 games of the Nintendo retro consoles. I have the NES, Game Boy, and now the Super Nintendo version of The Hunt for Red October. Received mediocre scores. Here, I picked this up this past weekend, PS2 memory card with a case. Here we have a little game for the Game Boy called Pipe Dream. Pretty fun strategy title. A few bucks, why not? Next is another game for the Game Boy, Super RC Pro-Am, came out about 1990. This isn't really a sequel to the NES version, but came out soon after it. So, pretty cool to add that one to the collection. Went to a toy store with a friend of mine, Sean, who decided that, well, rather, the owner decided that he didn't need this. This is a Tetris, which actually doesn't include its manual, but has its inserts and the game's in great shape. I got it for free, so thanks, man. I didn't have the box for that, but now I do. I already own the game, so that's pretty cool. Here we have a little obscure NES title by the name of Faria. Came out in 1990 by Nextsoft. The same guy involved in the development of this game actually made Lunar 1 and 2. It's an RPG. Looks pretty awesome. It's complete in box. They spent about $110 on it. The manual, unfortunately, has seen better days. Is missing a few pages, but pretty good otherwise. Shifting gears, we have Sega Genesis title, complete in box, known as Powermonger. Picked this up for about 12 bucks at a flea market. It's a strategy game made by Electronic Arts. Not to be shown up, we have Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on the Sega Genesis complete. I paid $67 on this one from eBay. As you can see, it's complete in box. Had my eye on it for a while, played a little bit of an emulator on it, looked pretty cool. I am a fan of Michael Jackson's music. Grew up in the era, you know, born in the early 80s, so why not? Continuing on, got a couple more NES titles. We have Star Voyager, which is from a nice little rental company with all the little stickers on it, as you can see. Made by Acclaim. Came out, I believe, 89. It's like a space shooter. Speaking of the 80s, this is Trojan, I believe, came out 87 by Capcom. Got those each for a few bucks. Last week's major pickup in terms of a game I'm adding to my collection, even though it wasn't considered major, is The Lost Vikings for the Super Nintendo. Been on my list for quite a while. Came with this little protective sleeve. Made by Interplay. Came out in 92, I believe. Maybe 93, but I think it's 92. Continuing onward, we have the PS1 version of Resident Evil in a long box, which I got for a whopping $15. This game is in great shape. Comes with its manual. I mean, it looks pretty darn clean. Retails for usually 25 to 30, if not more. Big score, in my opinion. I was surprised that GameStop had this. They're starting to carry retro games. I'm telling you guys, you need to check these things out. You might find something. It might be half of what it's worth. I don't know. But, you know, I lucked out on that and Resident Evil 3 in the same day. So, very, very happy. Got a couple guides here. First, we have The Force Unleashed. For, I guess it's really for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I have beaten it already, but for $5, sure. Next, a game I have not beaten, Deus Ex: The Conspiracy. This is for the PS2 PC versions. I do have both, actually. Though, of course, I prefer console games. So the PS2 version is one I have not played much of. It looked very interesting, and I'm looking forward maybe to having that guide help me. Could always look on Google, of course. But my backlog is at least 600 titles long. Here we have Silent Hill 3's guide. Got this for about, I believe, $8 or so. I do have the third one, of course. That's why I got it. Haven't played anything other than the first one, so when eventually I hit Silent Hill 3, I'm hoping to play Silent Hill 2 this Halloween season. Be able to do that. Use that guide. started reading some Tom Clancy novels. Decided I'm going to start collecting Tom Clancy games. This here is Ghost Recon on the Xbox. You notice it's a black case. I said, for the heck, why not? Let's put all the Tom Clancy games in a black case and separate them. So that's what I will be doing. Got very good reviews in 2002 when it was released. So, speaking of Tom Clancy, picked this up last weekend. This is Rainbow Six Vegas. Pretty awesome game. I haven't really played it yet, but it's on the PSP. Came out in 2007. Got okay reviews. Next, PlayStation 1 title, Blaster Master. Picked it up this weekend. Complete, worth 10. I got it for 8. Pretty darn good shape. Blaster Master's pretty cool. I haven't played any of the new ones, but that's my first new one for the collection, so why not? Breath of Fire for the PS2. This is technically Breath of Fire 5. I had the first 2, but not 3 and 4. Picked this up at a flea market for about $6 or $7. Actually more like 10, but still. Complete, good shape. It's worth about 10. Why not? Next, The Force Unleashed for the Wii. I've beaten, like I said, the Xbox 360 version. As I'm a Star Wars fan, figured since it's quite a different game, so I've heard, why not add the Wii version? GameCube's Reign of Fire, which I believe is based off a movie, or so I'm told. $5 game, got this past weekend as well. Looks pretty cool. I guess you pilot a helicopter, shoot dragons. Who doesn't like helicopters or dragons in the same game, right? Next, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. I do have the original Splinter Cell. This is the Xbox version. I just recently got it this weekend. Super busy. Haven't been able to switch the case out. That's why it's still green. Still, for a couple bucks, pretty cool. And then, of course, we have Manhunt for the Xbox. This is, I believe, a survival horror title. It came out about 2003. I remember Game Informer talking about it. The magazine for GameStop, of course. Looks pretty good. For about, I think it was $4 I spent on it. Case can be in better shape, but other than that, I can switch out the case. Not bad. Finishing up, you don't see it behind me. I did post it. I did get an orange N64, which did not come with an expansion pack, but otherwise looks in great shape. I spent $80 on that. Came with an aftermarket, so one of the newer orange N64 controllers with a tighter stick. I still prefer Nintendo's control sticks and whatnot, because that's what I've been raised on, of course, even though they weren't as well made as some of the newer iterations. And lastly, we have PlayStation 2 controllers. The Turbo controller, got it for $2. That's pretty awesome. Yes, right here, my wait has finally ended. I got the case for $10.99 and the system with a controller with its connectors for $45. The person was nice enough to actually hold it for me and not accept, excuse me, the offers for $100 plus that she was getting. But this is an NES Classic. You may ask, why would I get an NES Classic? Yes, I am a Nintendo fanboy. Yes, it's cool to have, and maybe I'll send it to, like, you know, bring it with me on some vacations. But quite honestly, it's for my daughter when she gets older. Because, let's face it, guys, some of these games are worth, like Faria, $100 plus. We don't want little children playing with them, right? So, that'll be cool for my daughter to have when she's old enough. She still has at least 2-3 years to go. But hey, you know, pretty cool. Spent less than $60 for the system with a controller and a spare controller, 2 extension cords, and the case. Because eBay is trying to just unload them. Some people on eBay did shortage of items, so. That said, that's July pickups. So, I'll catch you guys later.